these genetically modified animals are used for the study of diseases. Using the animals to come out with the better products that are going to benefit the human mankind in many ways. Transgenic animals are exposed to toxic substances, and if at all these toxic substances are not going to harm those animals, then it is brought into the market. 27 documented varieties of basmati rice are grown in India. Moving on to the last concepts of this particular chapter called biotechnology and its application. Moving on to the last session of this particular chapter called biotechnology and its application. Myself, B. Shobha Rani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. Hope you remember in my last session, we were discussing about the transgenic animals, how important these transgenic animals are, or what are the benefits of this genetically modified animals. As we have already discussed some of the beneficial aspects of these transgenic animals, moving on to the further benefits of this transgenic animals. The benefits or applications of transgenic animals, particularly in the field of medicine. I think all of us know the modern technology, the modern equipments, and the modern inventions have come to the rescue of many people by curing many dreadful diseases. And particularly the technology and the inventions has been done in the field of medicine for the benefit of human mankind in many ways. I think all of us know now the mortality rate has been reduced in India because of the better medical facilities and the better medications and the better technologies that are implemented for diagnosing the diseases. So moving on to what are the beneficial aspects of these transgenic animals, particularly in the field of medicine. One very important benefit of this transgenic animal is study of diseases. So these genetically modified animals are used for the study of diseases. That is, transgenic animals are designed to study gene regulation and how genes affect the normal functions and development of the body. So these genetically modified animals are designed to study the gene regulation. What do you mean by gene regulation? Gene controlling. So as we know, already we have studied in molecular basis of inheritance where the gene regulation. So whenever we want the genes to function, they are activated. So you can control the gene action. So the gene regulation and how the genes affect the normal functions and development of the body. Here you can see the albino rat. So all of us know that in many research labs, particularly in the field of medical science, that albino rats and mice are used for the study, particularly for the study of diseases. Here also you can see the albino rat, which are white in color. So transgenic animals serve as models to understand how genes are responsible for the development of diseases. As we know, most of the diseases are particularly the whole body is regulated by the genes. So there are some genes which are the causative genes for causing many diseases. So by using these transgenic animals, which serve as a model to understand how genes are responsible for the development of diseases, so that new treatments of diseases can be investigated. So that is what is being done in the field of medicine. The very important aim in the field of medicine is to come out with the advanced drugs or to come out with the advanced equipments so that many diseases can be cured. Because as we know now, day by day we are coming out with new and new diseases, and the very important thing is how these diseases need to be taken care. So in that case, the transgenic animals serve as a models to understand how genes are responsible for the development of diseases, so that new treatment of diseases can be investigated. Then for example, like cancer, fibrosis, rheumatoid arthritis, and Alzheimer's disease. All these are the diseases which are very common in human beings nowadays. So these are the diseases which need to be taken care, because the rise of these diseases is increasing to a greater extent, and at the same time they need to be taken care at the at a faster rate. So for all these reasons, particularly in the field of medicines, the transgenic animals or genetically modified animals are of great benefit. Now let us understand once again what are the benefits of these genetically modified animals to study the diseases. So transgenic animals are designed to study gene regulation and how genes affect the normal functions and development of the body. So transgenic animals serve as what? Serve as models to understand how genes are responsible for the development of diseases so that new treatments of diseases can be investigated. For example, diseases like cancer, fibrosis, then rheumatoid arthritis and Alzheimer's disease. Now, biological products. How are these genetically modified animals are responsible for the biological products? So, transgenic animals are designed to produce desirable products of biological importance. That is what has been done in biotechnology, using the animals to come out with a better products that are going to benefit the human mankind in many ways. That is what is the application of biotechnology. So, transgenic animals are designed to produce desirable products of biological importance. Now, let us understand how the transgenic animals are used to produce the biological products of human for human value, which is going to benefit the human value. Example, the human protein. I think all of us know proteins play a great role in the body of a human being, as they are the building blocks of the body and they are responsible for the wear and tear of the cells in the body. So imagine how important this protein is for the growth and development of a body. So a human protein called alpha-1 antitrypsin is used to treat emphysema, particularly the lung diseases. So particularly the respiratory disorders. So I think all of us know due to this increasing pollution, and I think right now as we all are facing this coronavirus, the lungs are the ones which are the worst affected by the coronavirus. So in that case, a particular type of protein called human protein is developed to treat emphysema and many other respiratory disorders. And study of vaccine safety. I think, as I've already said, whenever a vaccine is developed against a particular disease, first it is experimented on the animals, then it is experimented on human beings. So directly it is not experimented on human beings, not risking the life of a human being. So in that case, so definitely the transgenic animals are going to be of great help in testing the safety of the polio, particularly one vaccine like polio vaccine, before its use on human. The same thing is being developed now also. The vaccine that is developed against this coronavirus is first experimented on the transgenic animals and then on human beings. So if it has found safety for the human beings, then only it will be brought into the market for human use. So what are the biological products? The transgenic animals are designed to produce desirable products of biological importance. For example, like we have this human protein called alpha-1 antitrypsin, which is used to treat emphysema or many respiratory disorders. And study of vaccine safety. So whenever a vaccine is developed against a particular disease, for example, like polio vaccine, first it is experimented on the transgenic mice, and if at all it is proved successful in this particular animal, then it is experimented on the human beings. Then chemical safety testing. I think all of us, even the chemicals or the drugs or the medicines that are produced in the pharmaceutical industries are also, I think all of us know, we have a variety of good number of medicines that are marketed in the market for curing many diseases or disorders. So in that case, first, I think all of us know whenever we take medicines, it might cause some side effects on the body. So in that case, before, and I think in order to make sure of the safety of the use of those chemical drugs that are used in pharmaceutical industries or that are developed in the pharmaceutical industries for the human benefit is first tested. And transgenic animals are exposed to toxic substances to study their effects in short time. So first, the transgenic animals are exposed to toxic substances. And if at all these toxic substances are not going to harm those animals, then it is brought into the market. So that is how the transgenic animals are also used for chemical safety testing, just like for vaccine safety testing. Then there is one such cow which is developed called Rosie cow. I think if in this beautiful picture you can see the cow called Rosie cow. So what is so special about this particular cow then? It is the first transgenic cow to be developed. So this Rosie cow has got a lot of significance because it is the first genetically modified cow. And what are the advantages of this Rosie cow over the natural cow milk? Now, the milk that is produced by this Rosie cow, how is it different from the milk of a normal cow? What are the advantages that have been, as I said, definitely that genetically modified animals are going to prove better than the normal ones because they are genetically modified. So as I said, you can alter the genes of your desire, of your this one. So you can get the desired character of yours by modifying the genes of this particular animal. So one such is called Rosie cow. So Rosie cow is the first transgenic cow that is developed. And what are the advantages of this Rosie cow milk against the natural cow milk? The Rosie cow milk contains alpha lactoalbumin 2.4 grams per liter. See, imagine it is having lactoalbumin in more content than the normal milk. So it is nutritionally a more balanced product particularly for human babies than natural. I think all of us know the very food of the infants is the milk. So, and if it is more nutritionally enriched, I think that will be of great help for the developing infants. So that is what is the advantage of this genetically modified Rosie cow. So the Rosie cow milk contains alpha lactoalbumin, that to how much? 2.4 grams per liter. And it is nutritionally a more balanced product for the human babies than the natural cow milk. So what are the other aspects of the benefits of genetically modified transgenic animals? Transgenic animals are exposed to toxic substances to study their effects in short time. And one such cow, which is the first genetically modified cow, is the Rosie cow. And what is the advantage of the milk that is produced by this Rosie cow? How does it differ from the natural cow's milk? The Rosie cow milk contains alpha lactoalbumin, that is 2.4 grams per liter, and it is nutritionally a more balanced. I think it's a more balanced diet. We can say milk which is having more of sugar and carbohydrate. So balanced product for human babies than natural cow milk. Then moving on to the ethical issues. I think all of us know how far these genetically modified animals or plants are accepted by the human beings. Are we definitely, when we consider them from the point of ethical views, I think sometimes we are not able to accept them. So there is one such committee called GEAC, that is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. Now, what are the objectives and responsibilities of GEAC? So this is one abbreviation which might be asked in the examination. Expand, GEAC. So what does GEAC stand for? Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. Now let us understand what are the objectives of this GEAC, that is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. First very important objective or aim of GEAC is to examine the validity of genetically modified organisms research. So to examine the validity of genetic modifications. Second one, to check the safety of introducing genetically modified organisms for public services. For example, I think all of us know insulin was extracted from the slaughtered cows and pigs. And as we know, when the human beings were using the insulin of the slaughtered cow and pigs, it was having side effects. So with that, I think you have already studied in the last session where through this technology called biotechnology, one such application of biotechnology is the production of human insulin. Humulin, it is called, which is widely used in the market for the diabetic patients. So imagine to check the safety of introducing the genetically modified organisms for public services. Definitely, is it going to help the human mankind or is it going to prove a threat to the human beings is a matter of concern. So what is GEC? It is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. And what are the objectives of GEC? To examine the validity of GMO, then to check the safety of introducing GMO for public services. So what are the responsibilities of GEC then? Just you cannot come out with a genetically modified organism and try to develop products and bring it to the market of you cannot come out with your wish and will. So there is one such committee where we need to take the approval, and that is what is GEAC, that is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. So what are the responsibilities of GEC then? To have some ethical standards to evaluate the morality of human activities that might help or harm living organisms. See, we also should take care that we do not harm the animals. According to the Animal Act, I think we all of us know that we are not supposed to kill the animals to our whims and fancies. So in that case, to have some ethical standards to evaluate the morality of human activities that might help or harm living organisms. Secondly, regulation on the release of genetically modified organisms into the ecosystem. For example, are they going to prove a threat to the ecosystem? As we know, ecosystem is the basic functional structure of nature. So is it the introduction of this genetically modified organism, is it going to affect the ecosystem? So what is GEC? It is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. What are the objectives of GEC? To examine the validity of GMO, to check the safety of introducing GMO for public services, then to have some ethical standards to evaluate the morality of human activities that might help or harm living organisms, then regulation on the release of GM organisms into the ecosystem. Now, I think all of us know rice. I think every day we have rice, but do you know the number of varieties of rice that are developed in India? Around 2 lakh estimated rice variety are developed in India. Maybe we may know around 15 to 20 varieties, I think. If you come across here, you can see in this beautiful picture the different colors of rice, the different texture, different taste, and different nutritional value of rice. As we know, rice has a lot of vitamin A, also along with sugar. So imagine, and one such rice is basmati rice. I think this is one such rice which is widely used by the human beings for various food purposes. So basmati rice is the variety of Indian rice. The patent was filed by a USA company. But actually, basmati rice, they say it is originated in India, but the patent was taken by a USA company. And 27 documented varieties of basmati rice are grown in India. See how many varieties of basmati rice are. I think you might have come across many ad in TV channels about the different types of companies of basmati rice. I think even when we use the basmati rice, even the aroma or the flavor or the texture or the quality, nutritional quality of basmati rice varies from a variety to variety. So around 27 documented varieties of basmati rice are grown in India. So the patent on basmati rice should not have gone to the American company. See, though it is one of the product which is developed in India, but the patent is taken by a USA company. So American company have used Indian basmati variety for developing new variety of basmati and claimed as an invention. See, they have claimed that it is their invention. So American company have used Indian basmati variety for developing new variety of basmati and claimed as their invention. So the patent also extends to the functional equivalence which restricted others from selling. And turmeric, even one such is turmeric, and even neem are Indian medicinal plants biopatent by American company. So I think turmeric and neem are the products which are widely used in India. Even basmati rice, I think rice is almost called as a staple food of India. We cannot, the meal will be incomplete without rice, particularly in India, South India. So imagine how important these varieties of rice are. So around 2 lakh estimated varieties of rice has been developed in India, and basmati rice is the variety of Indian rice, the patent which was filed by a USA company. So 27 documented varieties of basmati rice are grown in India. The patent on basmati should not have gone to American company, because American company have used Indian basmati variety for developing new variety of basmati and claimed as an invention. The patent also extends to the functional equivalence which restricted others from selling. So turmeric and neem, I think turmeric and neem both have a lot of medicinal value, and they are the ones at this point of time where we all are facing the coronavirus pandemic. I think we are using more of turmeric, we are using more of spices. Maybe that is the reason why we Indians are able to go just fight against this deadly coronavirus. Neem, I think neem also has a lot of significance in Indian culture. Our Indian medicinal plants biopatent by American company. Moving on to the last part of this concepts of this particular chapter called biotechnology and applications is biopiracy. Here you can see in the picture, what is biopiracy? Using the nature, knowledge of indigenous people without permission of financial gains. So how do we define the word called biopiracy then? It is the term used to refer to the use of bioresources by multinational companies and other organizations without proper authorization from the concerned countries and people without compensatory payment. So you cannot come out with a product and you cannot bring it to the market of your own without taking the consent. So like, there are many products which are brought into the market by many multinational companies. So they have to take the permission. So what is biopiracy? It is a term used to refer to the use of bioresources by multinational companies and other organizations without proper authorization from the concerned countries and people without compensatory payment. So if you have developed with some product, so somebody cannot take that product and bring it into the market. So proper authorization should be taken before it is used, or even compensatory payment should be given. So biopiracy should be prevented because the country people concerned are not given adequate compensatory payment. So without giving compensatory payment, and if you bring the and if you use the product, then definitely it's not good. So biopiracy should be prevented because why? The country and the people concerned are not given adequate compensatory payment, and that is the reason many laws have been put across, and they are called as that is biopiracy can be prevented by forming laws. So what is biopiracy? It is the term used to refer to the use of bioresources by multinational companies and other organizations without proper authorization from the concerned countries and people without compensatory payment. And biopiracy should be prevented because why? Because the country people concerned are not given adequate compensatory payment. Then biopiracy, how can it be prevented? It can be prevented by implementing certain stringent laws, and that particular is going to prevent biopiracy. Hope you all have understood all the concepts of this very interesting chapter called biotechnology and applications. So thank you so much.